Hello. This is November the 9th, 2022. I'm just going to relate my story of that dreaded word of cancer that everybody doesn't want to hear about. My story starts on September the 7th of this year when I went in for a routine mammogram and just assumed that it would be just a routine because it had numerous ones in the past years, so all worked okay. And the technician said, well, if anything's wrong, somebody will be in contact with you tomorrow. And so I did get a phone call the next day, the 8th of September, saying that they had found something that they thought was suspicious and they wanted me to have another mammogram done and probably an ultrasound. And so she was a little bit disappointed that she had not been able to get me an appointment for the Friday. So following Monday, I had a mammogram done, and that was September the 12th at just in a general X-ray department on 8th Street. And so their equipment is a little bit more refined and can look in at the site that they want, and they did an ultrasound. So, and that was that. And on September the 21st, I got a phone call to say I had an appointment for a breast biopsy on the 29th of September. So, and I went for that, and a follow-up appointment was booked that day with Dr. Myers. And so on October the 12th, I got the news that, yeah, they had found cancer. And at that stage, it seemed like, oh, okay. I asked, is it estrogen driven? And she said yes. And she said, so I said, the questions were, she said, it's pretty small, it's stage 1. And so I thought, okay, there were two options, either radiation or mastectomy. And I said I didn't want to do radiation. So I left thinking that mastectomy surgery was going to be booked in 4 to 6 weeks. And so then I got home, and then on October 21st, I got a phone call from her, and everything got turned on its head. Number one, it wasn't estrogen driven. It was what they call HER2, so HER2, and it is a cancer it's a protein that attaches itself to the cells and drives the cancer, and it is considered a little bit less treatable in some ways, more likely to spread, and it also goes faster. It has a tendency of progressing faster than the hormone-driven. So she at that time recommended or thought that she was going to refer me to the cancer clinic and and also get genetic screening done. So now she's asked me a couple of times, have you ever had anybody in the family that's been tested for the cancer gene? And I said, not that I'm aware of. And so I haven't been able to find anybody that's been tested. So that's what she recommended, and that I get tested for this gene through genetics. And so on October 27th, I had an appointment with a geneticist set up. It was going to be a phone call consultation. October 28th, I got a phone call from the cancer clinic to say I had an appointment for November the 1st. I needed to have blood work the day before. And so now I went to see, this is November the 9th, so obviously I've already been to the cancer clinic. And there again, they probably, in order to treat this, would recommend doing chemotherapy. But the information from the cancer clinic, okay, the tumor, or didn't call it a tumor, but the cancerous site is 2.75 centimeters. So, and it is quite different and also considered stage 2. If it was 3 centimeters, it would be a stage 3. So this is all kind of information that I wasn't, none of that was related on October the 12th when I first got the pathology of the biopsy. So everything got twisted. I mean, now, and I said, I just don't want to do all those drugs. I just don't. I mean, maybe that's just the wrong choice, and part of me feels it probably is. And he's saying, oh, 90%, cure with doing the chemotherapy. So it would be chemotherapy for 6 months, do a mastectomy, and then you would follow up with more drugs and all the stuff that goes afterwards. So that's been a tough decision. I really don't know. I'm really one of these people. I said, what's the best results we can do with the least amount? And he said, number one, if you do nothing, he said the cancer will just spread to other parts, like to bone, liver, brain, wherever the heck it wants to go. And at this stage of the game, my feeling is maybe it already has spread. We just don't know it yet. And that makes it tough. I really don't know. He says the cancer cells are so small, he didn't really think that, doing a lot of scanning or a lot of testing would reveal anything. He says, you're a healthy person. Yeah, okay, on the surface I look healthy, and I'm not on a lot of medication. But I mean, at some point in time, you have symptoms that you live with. My stomach for the last week or so has been absolutely miserable. Lots of bloating, a lot of gas and belching, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on there? So you think at when you start having symptoms of some sort, you start thinking, well, is this related to the cancer or is it not? And it plays a bit of a mind game on you at some point in time, and I try not to buy into that. And I'm just like, okay, my surgery has been scheduled for November the 15th at 8 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes when you cut into the cancer, it just spreads. That may be the reality. I don't know. I don't want to go there being negative and thinking that this is all for naught, but it may all turn out totally different than what you're hoping for. But I mean, that is what cancer does. I mean, there's no path that you can choose that will. It's not predictable. Every person's body is different, and this is how the cancer will go, and so that's where we're at. So staying optimistic, we'll see what my path will be. And like I say, this is not a sympathy video. I don't want anybody to think that my case is worse. There's been lots of younger people who are struggling with the critical life decision things too, and I'm 72 years old, so I will have to look at it and say I've been blessed and I've been fortunate. So that's where we're going to leave it at.